Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be learning how to cut a corset with a yoke. So if it's something you would love to learn, please keep on watching, like, share and subscribe. So let's go right into the main video. I'm going to rule a straight line here, which is going to serve as our shoulder line and our starting point. From that line downwards, I'm going to mark my bust point, which is 10 inches. From my shoulder to my bust point is 10 inches. I'll go ahead and extend the line across. So from my shoulder, I'm still going to come down to mark my under bust point, which is 13. From my shoulder to my under bust is 13 inches. I'll mark that all the way to get a straight line. Then I'll go ahead and extend the line across. Then I'm going to come down to mark my waist point as well. From my shoulder to my waist is 16 inches, but I'm going to mark 17 inches, 1 inch for sewing allowance, and I'm going to extend the point across. So now that we've gotten all the lines, I'm going to go ahead and label. This is my waistline, my under bust, my bust point, and my shoulder line. So I'm going to come to the shoulder line here. I'm going to mark my neck width of 3 inches. Then I'll come down to mark my neck depth of 3 inches. So we have 3 by 3. I'll go ahead and connect the 2 points together with my curve. Then still on the shoulder line, I'm going to divide my shoulder by 2 and mark it. My shoulder is 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. At that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll connect that point to the neck width like so. Then I'm going to come down from the shoulder slant to mark my chest line. How to get your chest line? Divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches to the measurement. I'm going to extend this point across. So this is now our chest line. Then on the chest line, I'm going to mark what I have as my shoulder measurement here on the chest line to get a straight line from the shoulder slant. Then I'm going to mark from the shoulder slant all the way to the point we just marked. Then I'll come to this line here, divide it into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint. Then at that point, I'm going to go in by half an inch. Then I'll come to the chest line, divide my bust circumference by 4. Then I'm going to connect this point all the way to the shoulder slant, like so. We now have our armhole. I'll come here, then divide my nipple to nipple measurement by 2. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. I'm going to mark the 3.5 on all the lines from the chest line down to the waistline. Then I'll go ahead and connect all the points together with a straight line. Then I'll come to the under bust line. I'm going to mark 1 inch on both sides of this line. I'll come to the waistline, mark the 1 inch also. But if you are busty, you can use 1.5 inches. Then I'll connect the 2 points together like this. Then from the bust line, I'm going to come down by half inch from the bust line. You can either use half inch or 1 inch. I'll come down by half inch. Then I'll connect from the under bust all the way to that half inch with my curve. Please pay attention to how I'm placing the curve. I'll connect the points together. Then from the chest line, I'm going to go up by 1.5 inches. It depends on how deep you want your neck to be or how covered you want your dress to be. You can use 2 inches, 1.5, 2.5. So I'm going to connect this line all the way to that point we went up. Then I'm going to mark 1 inch here also on both sides of the line. Then I'll connect it back to the bust line. So I'll come to the end of the paper here. I'm going to mark half inch here on the chest line and also on the bust line. This is the distance we have in between the two busts. I'm going to connect it together like this. When you open it up, it's going to be 1 inch. Then I'll connect from that point all the way to the under bust with my curve rule. See the way I place the curve rule. Then I'll connect from up here to meet that point like this also to form our cup. So to get the second cup, measure the distance from your bust to your under bust. Whatever you have there, add 1 inch and mark it here. So I got 4. Then I'll come here to the armhole and mark the midpoint. Then I'll connect from the armhole all the way to the under bust like this. So we now have our second cup, and then I'll connect from up here also to meet the armhole like this. Then I'll come here to close this part also. So the next thing is to impute our round body measurement, my bust divided by 4. Then the dart intake, I'll replace it and then add 1 inch for seam allowance. I'll come to the under bust, divide my under bust by 4. The dart intake, I'll replace it, then add 1 inch for seam allowance. I'll come to the waistline. I'm going to measure my waist divided by 4. The dart intake, I'll replace it, then add 1 inch for seam allowance. And then I'll connect all points together. So that is basically it for the pattern drafting. I'm sorry that I could not show when I was cutting it. My video paused on its own without me knowing. So it was after that I realized that it didn't record the parts that I was cutting. So I'm so sorry about that. So we'll keep this aside so that we can work on the back. So I'll rule a straight line here, which is going to serve as our starting point. Then I'll come down to mark 1.5 inches all the way down, which is going to serve as our zipper allowance. So if yours is going to have a zipper, go ahead and include your zipper allowance. Then I'll connect these points all together with a straight line. So this is now our zipper allowance. All our measurements will be taken after the zipper line. So I'll come down to mark my bust point just the way we did on the front pattern. From my shoulder to my bust point is 10, which I've marked. Then I'll extend the line across. Also coming down, I'll mark my waist line, which is 17 plus my allowance. I'll go ahead and mark it all the way to get a straight line. Then I'll extend the point across. So this is my waistline, bust point, and my shoulder line. So I'll come to the shoulder line here, mark my neck width of 3 inches. I'll come down to mark my neck depth of 1.5 inches. I'll connect all the way into the zipper allowance. So I'll come here to mark my shoulder divided by 2, which is 7.5. At that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll connect into the neck like so. Then from the shoulder slope, I'm going to come down to mark my chest line. I'm going to extend that point across. We are literally repeating what we did on the front pattern. Then to get a straight line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement here on the chest line, then connect from the shoulder slope to the point we just marked on the chest line. So this is our chest line. So I'll come to this line, divide it into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint. Then I'll come to the chest line, divide my bust circumference by 4. Then I'll connect from that point to the midpoint of that line with my curve rule. So this is our armhole. The next thing, I'm going to come here to mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 3.5. I'll mark it on all the 3 lines. Then I'll connect the points together with a straight line. I'll come to the waistline and mark 1/2 inch on both sides of the line and connect all the way to the bust point or bust line. So after imputing our dart, I'm going to go ahead and impute my round body measurement, my bust divided by 4. Then I'll come to the waistline, my waist divided by 4, replace the dart intake, and then add 1 inch for seam allowance. I'll go ahead and connect all points together. So I'll come to the waistline. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch here and connect it up slantly. This is to prevent our zip from bulging after sewing. To cancel this area, this is the part we don't need, we'll cut it out later. So this is basically it for the back. If you are using a normal basic bodice, so this should be it. But if you want the back to have a yoke also, you just connect from your neck all the way to the chest line this way. So this part will now be the yoke. So let's just go ahead and cut it out now. I'm going to extend this line to the zipper. This is where the zip is going to stop if the back pattern is having a yoke. So I'll just go ahead and cut it from there all the way. So if at this point you have not yet subscribed, please do wait to hit on the subscribe button. Subscription is totally free. Like, share, and leave comment as well. This will help the algorithm to push the video to more people. And make sure to not wear your yoke stop so you won't get confused when you are sewing. So if your top is going to have a loop, then there's no need for zipper allowance. Just subtract whatever inches you want to subtract from your measurement. It depends on how open or close you want the back to look. So for me, I subtract 1 inch from my actual measurement, and I'm going to cut it out with the zipper allowance. So if your top is having a zipper, include your zipper allowance, but if you're going to use loop, then there's no need for your zipper allowance. Thank you so much for staying tuned. See you in my next video.